Hello there, I am Jaime Elizondo from Real World Ranching, where my goal is to help you achieve maximum productivity while improving your land the fastest. Today, I want to talk about the advantages of creating a soil sponge. Have you heard about the soil sponge? It's the newest thing out there. Okay, well, a sponge will hold water and be absorbent, right? We want our soil to absorb a lot of water and to hold it to allow plant growth for a much longer time. Creating a soil sponge is crucial for microorganisms that allow our forages to produce more, both in quantity and in quality. Besides, microorganisms, we know that the gas interchange in our soil with the air above it needs to be enhanced, and this is another reason we want a soft or spongy soil. When we walk on a spongy soil after walking on compacted soil, if we are good at observing, we will feel it in our feet and we'll see the huge difference it makes in grass productivity, biodiversity, and soil health. What happens when we create a spongy soil? Everything starts to work as nature intended. The natural processes develop unhampered, and a highly productive soil is in the making. We know that a spongy soil will allow natural processes and also give higher productivity in our pastures due to reducing runoff when we get a heavy rain event and promoting soil life. But what is the opposite of a spongy soil? Well, a compacted soil. And what causes a compacted soil? The lack of strong roots and a lack of soil life. How do I know this? I have regenerated compacted sandy soils and compacted heavy clay soils with adapted livestock implementing the Total Grazing program. The sandy soil changed from being compacted and very low in organic matter to a dark colored sandy soil, but with a good smell and spongy. I was so happy to be able to put in the step-in plastic posts for temporary fences. When we started there, it was very difficult to impossible to drive the plastic post into the ground when it was dry. After 2 or 3 years of implementing the Total Grazing program, the soil changed and it was easy to push the posts in. No more rubber mallet to pound them in. Wouldn't you like to create a better and spongy soil, higher in organic matter and humus content in your own farm? The benefits just keep adding every year that you manage this way, as more and more humus is created. And it is humus which allows a soil to be spongy. A high humus content and strong and deep roots of desirable species close together. Now, let me tell you what creates a hard and compacted soil. It starts with conventional agriculture or with overgrazing, which is regrazing a plant before it has fully recovered. Both of these management mistakes come from a lack of strong and fat roots in our soil. Did you know that mycorrhiza, the main builder of new humus in your soil, requires a living plant to live and survive? And maybe you're thinking, what about the desert? Will it have mycorrhiza? Yes, if we keep perennial grasses and shrubs alive. And I have many students doing just that in the desert, and their results are amazing. So what happens when we till the soil every year, like in conventional agriculture? Well, no living perennial grasses there, and the mycorrhiza dies. The same happens when under selective grazing, the grasses are overgrazed. They become weaker with each overgraze, returning too fast to regraze them, and this reduces the mycorrhiza population that reduces the new humus creation that would allow the soil sponge to deteriorate into a compacted soil. Even chemical fertilizers, insecticides, fungicides, herbicides, and dewormers will kill mycorrhiza. What we need is to maintain a thriving community of a biodiverse pasture with strong roots. And you cannot have strong and deep roots in your grasses if you allow your livestock to graze selectively at a high stocking rate, as it will lead to overgrazing. Once you implement the total grazing program and eliminate overgrazing, your pastures start improving themselves and improving your soil. The virtuous cycle where microorganisms in the soil and roots of your forages feed your plants and themselves are converted into human starch. The microorganisms' bodies themselves are converted into humus when they die. The energy created by photosynthesis in the green leaves of your plants will be used for growth and to feed these essential microorganisms instead of being used up by respiring of the stems, as will happen under a selective grazing program. On grasslands, the blame of degraded soils that are not spongy but compacted lays on the lack of strong and fat roots of desirable species caused by overgrazing. And this has been happening worldwide for a very long time. We need to change that and create strong and fat roots without killing our precious microorganisms. And happily, this is also lower cost and higher productivity per acre. This is what my students are achieving. They have eliminated overgrazing, gradually stop using any synthetic fertilizers until they eliminate them completely. They are creating strong and fat roots of desirable species. They are increasing the humus content in their soils. They are enhancing grass productivity, increasing stocking rates, but without overgrazing. They are creating a standing hay reserve in area for the hard times. Conclusion and recap. Number one, if you want to improve your soil and environment so the runoff is reduced and more soil life allows you a higher grass productivity at a low cost, you need to create a spongy soil. Two, a compacted soil is created by the lack of strong and deep roots. Three, humus content will determine how productive and spongy our soil will be. Four, we need to enhance mycorrhiza and fungi on our inner soils to create more humus. And the lack of humus can be a direct result of selective grazing programs when at the high stocking rates that current economic conditions demand to make a profit. In grasslands, this is created by overgrazing, the regrazing of a plant before it has fully recovered. 7, because these microorganisms depend on root exudates to live, we need to graze in such a way that the green leaf to stem ratio is enhanced in the regrowth. Ask yourself which type of grazing will create a better leaf to stem ratio in the regrowth. 8, leaving your soil compacted will ensure that it will be dependent on synthetic fertilizers, insecticides, herbicides that will keep it compacted. It becomes a death spiral where most farmers are caught in. 9, we need a grazing program that eliminates overgrazing and allows for you to leave a standing hay reserve in area, even at high stocking rates. 10, I call this the total grazing program, as it is a continuum that considers the whole year and multi-year to obtain these results. Well, I hope you like this podcast and you can put it into practice. Thank you, and until next time, be sure to subscribe to the podcast on Spotify, iTunes, or YouTube, or join us for the weekly email at www.rwranching.com/join. See you later and have a great day.